Hi, this is Sarah Wells, owner of Swell Design, and this video is going to walk you through the basics of managing your Wix blog on your Wix website. So to get started, you'll log into your Wix account and you want to head into your Wix dashboard. So you'll select the site and wait for that dashboard to load. At this point, you probably already have the blog integrated and you're just trying to figure out how to add blogs. So what you'll see is once the blog has been added to your website, you're going to have a new area over here on your left-hand menu for the blog. So we'll go ahead and click on that, and you'll see there are a lot of different options in the drop-down, but when you just click on blog, you'll be taken to the general overview area with information. So what we're going to do is go ahead and add a blog post. So we're going to head over to posts, and I'm just adding a blog post to my own website and walking you through the steps on how to do this for yourself as you begin creating more blogs. So if this is the first time you're doing this, this area will likely look empty, and what we're going to do is go ahead and create a new post. I generally write my blog posts in a Google Doc and work on it over a period of time, and then once it's ready, I'll bring it over here. So on my other screen that you cannot see, I have my blog post in my Google Doc, and I'm just going to slowly start bringing the information over, including my title. And then I tend to just bring each section over individually. So here's my blog that I created, and I just like to bring each section over individually because it does tend to keep the settings and the text qualities as you do that. And then you can manipulate your spacing and do some different things with what's bold if you want to italicize certain things and things like that. So what I'm going to do now is grab the next section and just continually bring that over. If when you paste a header or a title section, for example, and it does not translate to the appropriate size, you can always head over to your heading area or manually change and manipulate what that looks like here. So I'm going to pause really quick and get all of this added, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so now that I have my entire blog added and formatted in the way that I would like, I want to go ahead and add some photos and some imagery throughout this blog as well. So what I'm going to do is find a place where I want to add my first photo, get that opened up, and I'm going to click the plus button. You can also click the plus button here, and that same menu will open up on the left side. If you've ever used an email builder, MailChimp, something like that, you're going to notice that this looks relatively familiar, and you're able to choose from a few different blocks of content to add into your blog. So I'm going to go ahead and choose a single image in this instance, and I'm going to create a new folder called Therapy Blog Post. So I've already pre-sourced a few examples of some graphics I have made for some of my therapy clients, and I'm going to drag those into this area so that they begin uploading. Okay, so for this section, I really just want to highlight one area, and I think I'm going to do this one here that shows a mock-up I created of a newly launched therapy client's website. When the image is selected, you'll notice you have a small menu and you have some options with what size you would like, and you can toggle between them to kind of check out how they look and work on your screen. You can manipulate the alignment, and you can also edit the image if you want to have a tighter crop. And I think I will do that. Have something like this. You're going to have some brief general settings that you can take a look at as well. You can add your alt text here, click to expand, allow people to download. I do not want that turned on. And then very few options from a design perspective, and you can do that if you'd like. So now that I have that section added, I do want to go down below because there is a section in my blog where I have placed a few examples of websites and brands that I have created for therapy specific brands. And so in that particular area, I want to go ahead and add a gallery of images. And I'm going to select these other items that are brand only features. Since we're showing the websites here, I also want to showcase the brands in addition to that. And this one has the website shown as well. With a gallery, you're going to have more setting options. When you click on your settings gear wheel, you'll have media, and here you can change the order of the items, layout, and you can play with masonry, collage, thumbnail, a lot of similar options you're going to have standard in the actual editor builder yourself. So I'm going to mess around with this a little bit and see which one is going to work best. I kind of like the idea of the slider, and I'm going to set this up to be a 3:4 ratio and see if I can't get it to be smaller though. Let's see. Okay, I think we're going to go back and keep it to the 16:9 because that's actually talking about the gallery in general, I think. Okay, no downloads. And that is looking good to me. So I'm going to exit out. You'll see the arrow. So now that I have all of my content present in the blog, there's still some work I need to do over on the left-hand menu. So in the left-hand menu, you're going to have some additional items, AI tools, settings. In the settings, you're going to want to assign an image. If you have added an image to your blog, by default, it will grab that image and place it as your featured image, but you can change it if you would like to something different. You can add your alt text for this particular image. You can choose to publish now, or you can publish at a different time. If there are multiple people on your team, you can have additional writers, showcase an excerpt, and you can choose related posts. You can also choose to feature this post. That comes into play if you have a featured post section somewhere on your website. It's going to pull this blog and place it into that particular area if that's how you have your settings set up. So normally I would be adding that alt text and all of that information. I'm also going to add information regarding my keyword. It's going to give you some suggestions by default of what is included in here. You can go about this a few ways. What it's suggesting right now is that I actually edit this to be, you know, a single word or phrase that is included in the title of my blog. So let's do that, and then by default it now has checked that item, and then I still need to add the alt text for those images, which I will do not during this video. Add a focus keyword to the blog post itself. So if by default you have not added your keyword to the blog, it will allow you to go back in and suggest you do that. So maybe I put it right here. So now we should get that selected. Boom. Write a meta description. So a lot of times for a meta description, I just write sort of in my own words a summary of the entire post. So basically, I would probably take more time to write that, but just for the sake of example, just giving some kind of brief overview of what the blog is about, and apply. And then like I said, the alt text is the only red flag that I'm getting at this moment. So what I'm going to do now is just make sure there's nothing else that I need to do. I'm going to review my SEO, my URL slug, the meta description I have applied, make sure that we're allowing search engines to index this page. You can do some additional, more advanced items, and then for social share, by default, you have typically in your core website settings uploaded a social share image, and it will use that by default. But just like you can edit it for every single page, we can edit it for every single blog what we want our social share image to be. So if we share this online, this will be the image that previews alongside of that. If you choose to monetize your blog, there's some information here and it will walk you through those steps. That's a little more advanced than what we're going to cover on this particular video. So that is pretty much the overview. You can choose to preview your now completed blog so you can kind of see what that will look like here. Scroll through it, make sure all the links you have integrated are working, all the features are working, things like that. If you need to make edits, you can go back to editing, but if all looks good, you can choose to publish, save as a draft, schedule the post, or any of these other options. I'm going to go ahead and publish. And then you will be prompted if you want to send out an email campaign, create a social post talking about this blog to kind of build some buzz about that. You can choose to do that as well. But that is the overview of how to add and edit and post a blog on your Wix website.